Okay, so I'm going to do a quick rundown on my 2018 trip to Oshkosh, Wisconsin for Airventure. I arrived the Monday around 2 in the afternoon, set up my tent. The area was just packed. It seemed like it was busier than it ever had been. And I ended up taking what seemed like a terrible field, but ultimately was fantastic because we had all the ultralights and every small aircraft flying over us all the time, paramotors, everything. And they had to fly 300 feet and below. So you had really wonderful views of these aircrafts. It was fun, non-stop. That was the big thing, was there was a rare moment that you would look up and wouldn't see anything. There was so many things I didn't expect. I thought, I'm going to see an air show. I'm going to see all sorts of aircraft maneuvering and doing some amazing things. What it ended up being, however, was a little different. I enjoyed the air shows, but I found that what was really enjoyable, first and foremost, was simply meeting like-minded individuals. We all have that use something to push our butt into the atmosphere with. And they fly crazy instruments. One of the things that quickly became apparent was the air show itself was going to be interesting. It was on in the afternoon, it was on in the evening. There was always aircraft in the air. There was every manner from the smallest to the largest. And you could go right up and see everything. I got to climb about 4 stories up into the cockpit and shake the hand of a captain of the C-5, a $285 million aircraft. It's $250 million. I'm afraid of smudging the nose gear on the Icarus ultralight, and here's these people flying these giant fortresses. But then on the other end of the scale, there's people flying just little things, basically lawnmower devices, rag wings, whatever you want to call them. These are smart people, they're engineering people, but they trust the physics. They trust their 503 Skidoo motor, upside down mounted. I learned a lot, but I was especially intrigued to meet these people. They were super friendly. I ended up meeting Steve from Denver, Colorado, with his son, who camped right near me. I had 2 boys from Vermont right next to me. Can't remember, something and Andy. Anyways, they had the story of somewhere out on a lake on the Canadian-US border that when winters, per weather conditions allow, they have an ultralight fly into this river where the border cuts right through the middle, and they shake hands across the border. And apparently the border security actually shows up because it's a known event somewhat, and they allow them to cross back and forth, but not their aircraft. So that was an interesting story. Steve from Denver, Colorado, he landed at the highest elevation airport in the United States. Can't remember the call of the airport. I think it's in Colorado, of course, but that's where he's from. And he's a 300-hour pilot. I talked to Uva, who is a Vancouver gentleman with 13,000 hours in aviation. My ground school instructor, Mike, was there. I had more than enough company. Everywhere I looked, not to be forgotten, Angel, a doctor from, I think he's within 200-mile radius because he flew his green Challenger in. Really, really get along, simpatico kind of people. He told stories of the odd engine out or two he's had with his Challenger, home built by himself in his garage 20 years ago, and he lives to tell the stories. And he wouldn't trade off any of the engine outs for not having that aircraft. It was really fun meeting these people. Opened my eyes to aviation far wider than I ever thought it would be. Genuinely liked all these people. You want to sort of have a beer with them kind of people. It's just lots of room. You could put your chair down anywhere. Where we camped, every morning I'd eat my scrambled eggs on toast in my shelter and look up, and there'd be all sorts of things happening in the sky. It's definitely worth doing again. The friendliness was outstanding. I shouldn't be shocked by it. You know, they're just people like everyone else. They have the same wants and desires. But I'll tell you this, I want to go again. It wasn't that expensive. The things that they could have charged for it that they didn't. You know, I waited in lineups to go into these big aircraft, everything was free. The food was cost effective. The food for a Canadian, you know, I'd buy a 10-inch pizza or 9-inch pizza. It was $9 American. With a pop, it was 10. It converts to about 13 Canadian. When you have a captive audience like that, I'm used to them burning everybody on things like that, on food and whatever. You know, I've paid $20 for a pizza slice and a pop at a motorcycle show in Toronto after paying $25 to park my car. They don't do that. It's really quite affordable. Join the EAA, the Experimental Aviation Association. It opens your eyes to way more than what you thought was out there. I'm so glad that I went, just for the volume of knowledge I managed to acquire there. And like I say, Steve from Denver, definitely Angel from wherever he was from. He's from Illinois. I know he flew in about 160 miles on his Challenger ultralight. Another gentleman, a young man who was a woodworker, he got back into aviation. He's not that old. And he'd gotten out of aviation for some time. He was getting back into it and looking at, you know, all manner of little aircraft. And I was walking, we were talking, he said, hey, if you don't mind, I'm just going to walk with you for the next bit. And him and I walked and talked for about an hour. Each of these people that I didn't know from Adam just days before, if I would see them in this giant conglomeration of people, I simply could holler out their name from 25 or 30 yards away, and they would actually say hi, and we'd come over, sit down, and we'd start yakking about something. It was that I wasn't expecting. I really thought it was just going to be a bunch of baby people that are out of my league. It's a lot of people that you need to meet. There's so much more to aviation than I ever knew. Here I find myself wanting a little tiny aircraft, something with cloth covering. Stuff. When I got into aviation, the more an aircraft looked like a rocket, the more I felt it was what I wanted to do. And now I think big Tundra tires or ragwing devices, they look wildly fun. Basically, Oshkosh was for me a giant eye-opener. Definitely will be going again. You should consider it. Join the EAA. How cool is that? When is the last time you touched something that was worth $285 million? Just over $250 million. It's all mine. Wow, there was a warthog right over.
Yeah, just keep moving forward.
Thank you. Smooth trip, guys. Thanks very much. right, thank you. Go ahead. These guys are hilarious. Where are you guys from?
Vermont. You know, that's just.
Oh, both of you from Vermont?
Yes, yes, up in the Northeast Kingdom.
And they're still friends.
That's south of Quebec, which really isn't part of Canada. They're going to separate. It'll happen.
My neighbors. Ciao. Steve and Bowen, the Colorado kids.
That is right.
My neighbors. They're
Thank
pilots.
you for letting us camp out next to you.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was a really good guy that time.
That's right, you were.
These poor saps were looking. It was packed, and they were going to stick themselves pretty much wherever and had been going pee for the last hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, anyways. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Right.
Hi from New Zealand.
Ciao, man. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Right safe.
It's amazing.
I can't pronounce this gentleman's name. He's from Vancouver, Canada, and he's a pilot with 3,000 hours? 13,000.
13,000.
Okay. Anyways, we had a good chat. Just another friendly guy in the area. His name is?
Uva.
There you go.
All
Nice
right.
meeting you, Uva.
Good to meet you too.
Ciao, man.
I'm Tim.
Tim from Philly.
Yes, sir.
Nice meeting you, man.
Nice meeting you as well, sir.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
I'm on. What's your aircraft called?
What?
What's your aircraft called?
It's Challenger 2.
He built it himself. He's flown over 1,000 hours,
Yes.
and he's taught me a lot.
Yes.
Nice meeting you, Angel.
Nice meeting you too.
How many kilometers? How many miles you fly to get here?
160 miles.
160 miles.
160 miles.
Miles on a two-stroke 503.
That's 7,500.
Nice meeting you, man.
Nice meeting you too.
There's Angel moving his Challenger. That's impressive. The flaps pull down. Here. Who's this guy?
Jason Schapper, good pilot, always learning, right?
Thanks very much.
Thanks, bro.
Maybe I would like one of these. What's the minimum distance for prop blast? Can't remember. Probably broke that rule. As I'm preparing my chili with toast, I got this going on. I don't know, can you see it?
Since we do have why the guy with Larry Winning up there, we're all curious. There is some weather floating around. Larry Winning, you can see it's the best one anybody. Elevation separation. Yeah, there is. We have to comply that it's a no temp, and we work with works very well for us. doing a great job for us. With style and our safety zone here at the Fun Fly Zone. Works very well for us. It's one of those things we'll do whenever needed. The Bumblebee coming in.
Okay, well, I'm about not an hour from Oshkosh. Fairly reasonable getting out of there, a little tricky. I left Friday, arrived Monday. A fantastic experience. Way better than I expected. The logistics were fantastic. Everything was cheap. Nothing was a ripoff. There was no prices to get into a lineup to see the world's biggest, most modern military aircraft. I'm going to do this again.